Kit Allowitz. Welcome to another video segment from the Leadership Journey. In a moment I'll be introducing Jonathan Owen. He's going to be talking about one of the book choices that we had from the January 2020 summit. This one in particular that Jonathan will be talking about is called The Art of Thinking Clearly. And it's a book about some of the challenges that we have with cognitive biases. I was particularly fascinated with this book. In fact, I'm fascinated with the whole idea, the whole arena of our biases. Maybe because I feel like I struggle with lots of different biases. Some of them are completely unknown to me. And as I become more aware of them, it just opens up the doors of opportunity, right? So I want to thank Jonathan for going out on, taking a chance and being willing to talk about his particular journey of reading the book, what he picked up, and what perhaps he's thinking more clearly about as a result of reading this book. Take it away, Jonathan.
My name is Jonathan Owen, and I'm an HR business partner here at Anderson Hauser USA. I'm here today to talk to you about the book, The Art of Thinking Clearly by Rolf Dobelli, and share my thoughts with you on some of the key concepts in the book and how it could help you as a leader. In a nutshell, the book is about cognitive biases, the way that individuals think and the way that they think irrationally or inefficiently, and how we could improve that level of thinking so that we could all make better decisions. In the introduction to the book, Rolf says, if we could learn to recognize and evade the biggest errors in our thinking, in our private lives, at work, or in government, we might experience a leap in prosperity. And he spends 99 chapters within the book detailing 99 separate cognitive biases and how we might overcome each one to experience that leap in prosperity that he mentions. One of the cognitive biases that he talks about in the book, and maybe perhaps the one that was most interesting to me, is the idea of base rate neglect. And this is the concept that we tend to assume based on the facts at hand that we know the answer to a question without considering the fact that there are key indicators in the data that we could analyze to help us to come up with a better response or answer. So let me demonstrate using an example. If you were to hear about a gentleman named Mark who was thin, wore glasses, and liked Mozart, and he lived in Germany, would you assume that Mark is a professor, perhaps, or a truck driver? Well, some of us might say those facts lead us to believe that he is a professor, but actually you're 10,000 times more likely to be a truck driver in Germany than you are to be a professor based on the number of people in those professions within that country. And so base rate neglect would lead us to assume that he's a truck driver, independent of the fact that he's thin or wears glasses or likes Mozart, simply because that's what's the more likely answer based on the data at hand. So I found that to be an interesting concept. I know that sometimes I try to draw conclusions based on the information that I believe I understand. And this was a good reminder at times that we should focus somewhat more purely on the data as opposed to drawing a conclusion based on what we are thinking. One other cognitive bias I'll share with you is the idea of the Twaddle Tendency. And this one's kind of interesting. I'm trying to stay away from it in this video, actually. So some of you may remember years ago, Miss Teen South Carolina gave an answer that became pretty popular because of how poorly she answered the question. She was asked why a fifth of respondents on a survey in the United States couldn't locate the United States on a map. And she spoke for 45 seconds in a long, rambling answer. It's a perfect example of the Twaddle Tendency. The idea here is that sometimes people will try to use additional language, additional words to make themselves sound smarter than they are, particularly if they're uncomfortable with the answer or don't know how to speak about the subject. So the idea is if you have nothing to say nothing. Kind of pare your ideas down into clear, concise language, and don't try to add additional thoughts or additional details that aren't necessary to making your point. Hopefully the couple of cognitive biases that I've shared with you here give you an idea of what the book would be like. These two concepts are fleshed out in 97 other chapters with 97 additional biases. I found it to be an interesting book to help me to understand how to think and how not to think, which is a big piece of what we're focused on in this leadership journey. Thank you for your time.